Wow, did you guys know that Valve actually opened up the Meet the Spy files to make this gag for their new news article? And it's so cool. But what if I told you they didn't? And you've just been fooled by good old editing. Let's tackle this. Hello internet, and welcome to TF Theories. So in the middle of the night, my friend Justin, who's a great TF2 modder who makes some amazing stuff, sent me this news article and was like, wow, they re-rendered Meet the Spy just for a little gag. Man, well, last month I made a video that was just about Meet the Spy, and I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't think they did that, you know? There's many things we can look at, alright? Let's look at the obvious things, alright? Let's look at these pictures coming out, right? Look at the original one. There's glare. There's bloom. Nothing on the new one, right? You can also kind of cross-sample the shadows, and the shadows don't match up. Now, if the table looks the exact same, and also Spy in the previous scene looks exactly the same settings would be applied, and there would be bloom as well as the correct shadows, but the shadows are different and all that. However, you could scratch this up to just being, you know, a render mistake, something like that, right? Maybe it's because it's running in the new engine, but I don't think that's true. And by new engine, I don't mean new engine, I mean new SFM, because this was made in, you know, 2007, 8, 9 SFM, so it looks very differently. But if it was made in the new one, it wouldn't look the same because, again, all the settings are very different. There's many other variants playing in as well, like, you know, focus distance and aperture and all that. So basically, yeah, it wouldn't look the same if it was rendered in a newer SFM. And if it was rendered in the old one, and it was just the textures of, you know, the images being swapped, then the shadows would look the same, right? But, alright, all this could be chalked up to just, you know, weird rendering engine or whatever, you know, we don't know. It's 2008 SFM. But let me break all the things down for you that's gonna expose this to be a composite and not a re-render. Alright, first of all, HD Meet the Spy, right? People say, oh, it's high quality, that means it's a re-render. No, they have HD versions of all the Meet the Team videos. We know that because in the Xbox files, an HD uncompressed version of Meet the Sniper, which came out even earlier, was found. But then people would be like, but the colors are different, the colors look totally different. Yes, that is true. But if you notice, all the Meet the Team videos back in, you know, in that era were kind of washed out and didn't have that much contrast. Now this is something that could have been done by them actually, because I think it makes it look more cartoony rather than looking, you know, dramatic like this new one, right? But the same also goes the exact opposite way. Basically, you can up or down the contrast however you want, and you can make them match each other perfectly. Now, it might have been rendered up with a higher contrast, but it looked too dramatic for the art style, so they turned it down. All opposite. It might have originally had way less contrast, and then they turned it up to fit the vibe with the news article. Now, let's go to the Polaroids, which give it all away, alright? Let's start. First of all, you can kind of tell on the folder that it might be a mask and not, you know, an actual folder over it. You can tell because the shapes are a little different than the original one. You know, it's less round. And then there's also one frame where it looks like there's a little artifact that shouldn't be there. Now the photos move perfectly and look great and match up. The only thing that doesn't really match up is, you know, the glare and the lighting, the bloom stuff, right? But you can also look at this photo and there's literally no shadow on that one. So that would be different, right? But again, a lot of this you can chalk down to rendering errors, etc. But let's look at the final nails in the coffin, alright? When you see them slide, they move perfectly. It's so well done. But there is a 3-frame period where one of the Polaroids don't follow the movement of the camera. So there might have been some tracking involved, and they jumped off the tracking for those few frames. You can barely tell, alright? I'm playing it in slow-mo, I'll play it in normal speed, see if you can tell. It kind of glides off the table, you don't notice at all. This is just something, you know, me as an editor notices. But yeah. And now let's look at the final one, okay? If you're still not convinced that this is composited and not re-rendered, let's look at this one. In this frame, you can see the Meet the Spy photos underneath it. You can literally see it underneath. The motion blur trail would make no sense to have that kind of coloring. So yeah. Well, that's Meet the Spy. They didn't re-render it, but they arguably did something much harder. Okay? Doing this would take so much effort that it's incredible. And again, nobody could tell. Nobody could tell, alright? I couldn't tell on a first glance. I only noticed the, you know, no bloom. I know that there are HD versions of Meet the Spy out there. And all that. But nobody could notice. And that's exactly what great VFX/editing is. If VFX is great, then it's invisible. So I really adore whoever from the Valve team did this, because they are so talented, and that is incredible. But anyway, thanks for watching. I don't know why I made a freaking almost 10-minute long video about this. Yeah, so bye-bye. What? And hey, it's just a theory. A TF theory. Thanks for watching.